Hello. Today we're going to be discussing how to create a service agreement using the Fieldwork Office app. In today's demonstration, I'm working off of an iPad. Our first step is to click the hamburger icon in the upper left-hand corner, and we will select Agreements. The circle and the three dots, if you click that, you have some filter options: sort by date, sorted by refresh, and then append an agreement. This is what you'll click to start the new agreement. So once you've started the agreement, next step is going to be to choose your customer. You'll click on that, and this is going to show you a list of your active customers. You can scroll through the list. You could also search through the list. There's some filter options here as well. And search through your list and find the individual that you wish to create the agreement on. Once you have selected the customer, you'll also want to click on the location and verify that you are on the correct service location. If there are other service locations, the iPad will default to the default service locations. Just click the location and verify that you do have the correct service location. Once an agreement is created, you cannot move it to another location. You would have to create a new one. Next step is our agreement type. We can click on this field, and this gives us a list of all of the service agreements available on your system. In today's demonstration, we're going to be using this residential bi-monthly. So we'll click on that, say done, and it will pull it forward. Your status is going to change automatically here as you progress through the as you progress through this process. The agreement date is today's date. You do have the option to change that if you want to. Production value, if you're tracking production value, you can add that here as well. Production value is also being tracked in another location. If you're tracking your activity of your sales reps, you can add that sales rep. In today's demonstration, we're going to choose this technician, Michael. And if you're also using a marketing campaign, you can select that marketing campaign and list that as well. You have the option for renewal. You can renew this if there was a renewal fee associated with this. An example might be a termite service where there is an annual renewal. You click this and it will change to yes. Then you can pick the renewal date and the dollar amount. For this bi-monthly, we are not going to use the renewal feature. Next step, click next. The agreement has been created, 189023. And our next option here now is we can add a diagram. You can choose from a list. If Rick Jones for this service locations already had diagrams attached to the account, you can click show list and it will show those diagrams. The desktop calls them floor plans, and you could select that and attach it to this agreement. You could also add the new vector diagram, which uses squares, circles, and lines, and basically you just create your own diagram. And the other option is to add new photo. If you click on this, it will ask to access your photo library or the camera. Let's say you have graph paper in your vehicle, you drew the plan out on graph paper, and then you just take a picture of it and upload it. So next is our initial details. So we'll click on this and it will take us to that initial work order template, which was created when the service agreement was created. Basically, we'll just verify the initial residential pest service. This is going to be the scope of service. This will be visible to the customer. We need to add tax, so we're just going to click on that dollar sign and go over here to the tax and add a check mark there to add the tags. If you upsell, you can also add another service. If you want to, say for instance, maybe you upsell this residential to include rodent bait stations or some other service, you can just use the add button to add additional services to that. It's going to select a default tech based on its location. The only visible techs that this particular technician can see is himself. If he was a supervisor, he would be able to access all of the technicians that are assigned to him. This again will default to today's date. You can change that, the duration, how much time that you think the tech is going to be using or necessary the tech is going to need for to complete the service, and then the start time. These notes again are default notes that were set up for this initial work order template, but you can click inside here and add notes of your own if you need to. Perhaps maybe if you did an upsell, you may need to add additional notes in here. Once you have completed this, you're just going to hit the save button, back, and all of our information is saved. Next, we're going to set up our reoccurring, so we'll click the reoccurring. Same thing applies. This is the scope of service for, this is the scope of service for that bi-monthly. And as you can see, we still need to add tax, so we're going to click on this, add tax, make sure the check mark is there, say done. And here too is an add button. If you need to add additional services, you can add additional services on this agreement as well. So again, this is the default technician. You can change this. You'll only be able to see yourself unless you're a supervisor. This frequency is set for a bi-monthly. We do need to select either days, dates, or every. Normally, the first thing might be it's going to always be scheduled on the first Thursday, or you can set a specific calendar date that this service is always going to fall on. Maybe this customer always wants it on the 15th of every month. And then you have an option here for every number of days. This is a bi-monthly, so setting this for 60 days with a starting day number 1. I'm going to just choose first Tuesday. And then this is a reoccurring. This is, you can set your service agreement to end after a fixed number of work orders or a specific date. We're going to leave this as none. There will be no end date. The date, this will be the date of this next reoccurring. So this is a bi-monthly. So you'll want to set this out to February and select done. Again, you can modify the duration if necessary. Perhaps you did an add-on service and the technician is going to need more time to complete that. And then start time. And then once this service agreement is accepted and goes into play, all of the service orders will be scheduled at that time. Here too you have notes, and in this note field, again, you can add your own notes, additional notes in here if necessary. Once you have this complete, you go ahead and save, back out, and now you have set up your initial and your reoccurring. So if your customer, the customer has the option to make a payment, this 167.79 is that initial service. So just like with a work order, you can select your payment method, whether they're going to pay with cash or check, or you can add a credit card and then mark this service as paid. For this example, we're just going to say they paid us with a check in the amount of 167.79, and here we can put a check number and then just click the pay button and it will apply that payment. So the final step here is to review and sign. You can click the review and sign. It's going to build up a portion of the pest service agreement. You can email it from here as well. Just click the email. If the account has an email address, it will auto-populate. Otherwise, just enter it manually. And then inside this, we'll click the signature box, and then in here, they can sign their agreement. We're going to say save. And once we do that, you can see here that this agreement has now become active. We can back out of here. We're going to save this, and it's done. You can see that it was paid. That initial service was marked as paid. It's an active service. And then this work order is already been set up. This is going to be on Jesse Walker Arbor schedule. He can actually go to his schedule today, and it will be there. So that's how you create a service agreement using the Fieldwork Office app on an iPad.